All right, I was watching an interview with Kevin O'Leary where he went on the record here saying that Canada is one of the greatest countries on earth, could be one of the wealthiest countries on earth, but it's run by idiots. And the guy was absolutely on point in this interview. Guy doesn't mince words when it comes to our Prime Minister or our former Finance Minister here.
Trudeau has done unbelievable damage to Canada over the last 9 years.
Gives you the brass tacks, straight up, no chaser, and he's absolutely right here. He went on the record saying that Freeland has been the worst finance minister in Canadian history, completely unqualified.
First of all, Freeland is the worst finance minister Canada's ever had because she's never run a financial institution. She started as a journalist.
And I'm in agreement here. Thankfully, she has resigned now. But the real problem is Trudeau. Hostile business environment, which is what I've talked about for years now. We are taxed to death and we're just not competitive, especially to the United States. Fairly recently, Chrystia Freeland had raised the capital gains inclusion rate from 50%, already too high, to 67%.
Just before Freeland quit, or whatever she did, she proposed corporate capital gains tax that would have blown us to pieces against the competitiveness of the United States.
Then, not long after, Mr. Trudeau sat down with this Paul Kershaw. Okay, this guy, I did a whole video on this guy, left-wing socialist, radical, about bringing in a tax on your principal residence, all in the name of inclusion and fairness and equality, but it's not. It's just a tax grab. The principal residence exemption is the only break we get in Canada. Of course, in the States, they don't have that exemption, but you can write off and deduct all your mortgage interest. They also have much lower income taxes. Canada, we have far higher income taxes than the US. So if you want to talk about a principal residence tax, slash our income taxes and the inclusion rate, I'm open to that discussion, but they'll never do that. The bottom line here is they're running out of money. They've run up massive deficits, and sooner or later, these socialist governments, they run out of other people's money. And that's what I think's happened here. He says Trudeau would put a candy store out of business within 2 days. He's absolutely right. And in BC, we've actually got it worse because we have the NDP. And our premier here, David Eby, makes Trudeau look like a centrist. This guy is a way left-wing. In my opinion, he's an all-out communist. I think it's a very dangerous ideology to have this guy as the premier of BC. Hopefully, we're going to see a change here before too long. But what does this have to do with real estate? Well, in order to get anything done, you need investment capital. You need risk capital, somebody who's going to take a risk on investing in Canada. You put up the cash, you expect a reasonable rate of return. What they've done here is they've driven everything away, all this capital away from Canada. And listen, it doesn't matter if we're talking about mining, forestry, data centers, real estate. You need that investment capital. I'm sure I'm going to get the typical comments on here that I always do. Let them go. Who needs them? Good riddance. We don't need the investors or the speculators or the development industry or the foreign buyers. Let's just shut down the borders, get those guys out of here, and have the government build us a free home. Well, it doesn't work that way. This is all a pipe dream. Some of these guys need to go back to school and just learn a little bit about basic economics here. Listen, I still think Canada is one of the greatest countries on earth. I still believe if you were born in Canada or even born in North America, you won the genetic lottery here. But we are way underperforming. We're not even close to reaching our full potential with this government. I think Canada and BC in particular will continue to struggle as long as the Liberals and the NDP are in power. Unaffordability is just going to get worse, in my opinion, because we're going to have another supply crunch. I've got a number of industry insiders in the pre-sale market talking about this, how there's really nothing in the pipeline. It's just too hostile of a business environment. The taxes are too high. Nothing's going to get built. We're going to have another severe supply crunch starting around 2026. I don't really want a government to give me a helping hand. I don't want the government to help me with social programs and handouts. And we're really unfortunately becoming a welfare state here in Canada. What I'd like to see is a government that just gets the hell out of the way, gives us a break on the taxes, and allows people to build something for themselves, whether that's starting a business, buying their first home, investing. That's why I'm supportive of a common sense conservative government here. But this is what happens. Unfortunately, Canada, again, one of the greatest countries on earth, but we're run by complete idiots here. I'm Jay Coupar. Feel free to comment below or subscribe. See you in the next video.
It's time for him to find a new job. I have no idea what that's going to be because I won't be hiring him. He put a candy store bankrupt in 2 days.